It's become incredibly apparent to me that this country may be headed towards another civil war. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I don't want one, but because the only people who are screaming for civil war are the Maga. Ever since the United States Supreme Court, who Donald Trump has appointed 3 of those judges who, in his mind, will protect him regardless of what he's done, the screams for civil war have become even louder and louder and louder. And a lot of it is coming from so-called representatives of the U.S. government for that. All of this is stemming from the U.S. Supreme Court, who recently ruled declaring that the federal government could remove razor wire on the U.S.-Mexico border. In their eyes, this is making the border crisis that Joe Biden is, in their eyes, making worse, despite the fact that Joe Biden is trying to get bills passed to increase border security. But the cause of them trying to ignore the federal ruling are pretty subtle. People like Chip Roy, the representative of Texas, calling on Texas officials to ignore the ruling. Now, this is quoting him. They have a duty under the Constitution and every other norm of leadership of any sovereign state to protect your citizens, period, full stop. There is no exception to that. And if the Supreme Court wants to ignore the truth, which is a slim majority did, Texas still has that duty. Texas leaders still have the duty to defend their people. Now, I would agree with that, Chip, if it wasn't for the fact that you and other Republicans don't want to protect the people. You have a very bad history of not protecting the people. And to make things worse, you're ignoring the fact that, of course, the border funding bill, every single one of you Republicans, with the exception of a couple, voted against the bill. You like to bitch and complain about what's going on in the southern Mexican border, but you're not going to do anything about it because you're listening to Donald Trump, and he's actually instructing you to kill bipartisan deals that will secure the U.S.-Mexico border because he doesn't want Joe Biden to chalk up any wins before the 2024 election. So you guys like to piss and bitch and moan about what's going on in the southern border, but you're not going to do a damn thing about it because you're just following orders. That Nuremberg bullshit defense of yours, you're just following orders of your master, Donald Trump. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, asshole. He's posting this on Twitter. I stand with Governor Abbott. The House will do everything in its power to back him up. The next step, holding Senator Mayorkas accountable. What exactly are you going to hold him accountable for, Johnson? Do I need to put the photo back up? Do I really need to do that? Yes, I will. Again, you guys like to piss and bitch and moan about the border, but you're not going to do anything to solve the problem. As long as Joe Biden doesn't get any political wins, you're all good. You can high-five yourself. Yes, we got him again. We got Joe Biden again. And maybe, just maybe, if you're even real lucky, you might get yourself a mention on Truth Social by Donald Trump, like a dog getting his head patted. Good boy, good girl, good boy. That's all you care about. That is all you people care about. And now we got Greg Abbott sending military troops on the border. Give me one good reason as to why that is a good idea. Now you got other states threatening to send National Guard troops to the border. That is going to end in disaster if one of those soldiers pulls the trigger on a kid or an entire family. That is not a good precedent. So Greg Abbott, the only people who are trying to start a civil war are people like Greg Abbott, people like Chip Roy, people like Donald Trump. The people who keep screaming for a war are the ones who are going to start it. The ones who are looking for blood are the ones who want it the most. And for what? For what? Because of some myth that Mexican immigrants are criminals or are rapists, the same criminals and rapists that Donald Trump labeled them as when he started his campaign in 2016? Is that what this is about? Because let me tell you something. We have criminals and rapists who are all American born in this country. One of whom, Matt Gaetz, who allegedly had sex with a kid and is about to get his ass creamed by the House Ethics Committee. But you don't want to talk about that. We have criminals like Donald Trump, who is still holding up to 91 felony counts, any one of which could disqualify him for running for president. Not to mention getting his ass in prison. But you want to talk about that. So here's the real problem with all of this entire situation. You are going to get someone killed down there at that border, Abbott. And why? Because you see a Mexican family, a Mexican, as less than all white America? Is that what this is about? Are you that bloodthirsty that you want to kill someone? You better pray that no one gets killed because of this whole situation, Abbott. Because I promise you, I will have your ass arrested for murder. My advice to you, think wisely. And for the soldiers who are being stationed down there, the National Guardsmen, don't do anything stupid. Don't ruin your life over a stupid mistake because your leaders, and I'm not talking about your military officers and leaders, I'm talking about your governor, Greg Abbott, and not to mention the idiots on Twitter. Matter of fact, here are some screenshots of people screaming for civil war on Twitter or trying to question whether this will lead to civil war. Because quite honestly, these people want blood. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And that is wrong. That's not what this country is supposed to be about. But apparently, thanks to the era of Donald Trump, it is. It's a shame. But remember my warning, Abbott. You better pray no kids get killed down there, or you'll be seeing me with a subpoena and an arrest warrant and handcuffs. And don't think for 1 second I won't drag you out of that fucking wheelchair and see to it that you spend the rest of your old age in a prison cell if anyone dies because of you. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.